Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Building Big with City Skylines episode 54. I'm Igneous, and today, as promised, we've built an asset that allows us to expand on our isolated districts. These circles, of course, being the isolated districts, we made an intersection that we could just stamp down, and it has all of this already laid out for us. We can just fill in with whatever we need, the services, the zoning, all that other stuff, and then we connect a train station. That's good to go. But if there's something that requires a little more space, kind of screwed. It's a little bit tough to add on in a way that looks half decent. So what I did was I made another intersection. Kind of looks like this. You place this, and it's sort of like the happy face shaped scenario here that you add on, and then you connect it with whatever you want. In this case, I've chosen highways. If you wanted to get even more zonable space, you could use like the 3-lane roads or whatever and get the ability to zone on either side of the road. That might be an option. It's not set in stone how you have to connect it. You don't even have to connect it on these angles. Maybe you want to just connect one 6-lane road between the two here and call it done. It's really kind of up to the individual what they wanted to do. And then you can zone additional things that take advantage of certain benefits. First of all, you don't have to place additional service buildings to get proper coverage for things like fire and police and all these other things, because this is hardly using the ones that we placed to begin with. So adding this means you're getting better use out of these guys without having to pay more, as well as giving you the option to kind of place this wherever you want. If you want, for example, more residential space and your industry is creating pollution, these farms aren't, but if these were creating pollution, you could set it up over here as far from the pollution as you want, or noise pollution or whatever. You could place it wherever you want and sort of expand it that way. You can also add additional intersections, stamps, around the perimeter to your heart's content. As long as you can fit it and you're happy with the way it looks and the way it works, there's no reason to stop you from doing that. The benefit to all of this is sometimes when you lay out anything, whether it's isolated district pre-stamped intersection / neighborhood, or it's a part of a regular city, you're not always going to get the right balance between industrial space to commercial space to residential space, and you'll have to fine-tune by adding more of this and then adding a little bit more of that until everything kind of works out. That's the whole idea. With these pre-stamped districts, it's nice to be able to add a little more space to do that fine-tuning. In this case, it wanted a lot of extra residential, and we still have some farms that are without workers. You can see down here these abandoned ones were without workers, and then of course you can see the icons for the ones that still don't have enough workers. Again, remembering how bad it was when we first placed this district, this is greatly improved. We've got more active farms now than we have in the past. I don't want to say we've got more active farms than inactive due to a shortage of workers or abandoned farms, because I don't want to count them all, but we're doing much better than we were. One thing that I did forget to do that we can correct quite quickly and easily is we're just going to expand the district boundaries to include the new residential area that we added, so that everyone is under the same umbrella. They all pay whatever. I don't even know how the taxes are distributed amongst districts, or even if they are. It's just a thing. We're making sure that people know we're a part of this whole farming shenanigan, and that's what we do. Look at that, all abandoned. I've gone around and I've done a number of passes as I was experimenting with different things, specifically for the purposes of clearing out abandoned buildings throughout this city, throughout all the other districts, throughout this district. I don't know how much it helps, but I do know that it does seem to help a little bit in terms of keeping people a little bit on the happier side. So now what I want to do, let's just take a quick look around. Here is the industrial zone that's supposed to be assembling everything that we make into finished goods for our commercial buildings to sell. It's not doing too badly. Again, we get some abandoned buildings, but in this case it's because they don't have enough goods still. We're not producing enough goods for these people to have things to do. And we've got forestry districts up here that are still importing wood so that they can manufacture it into furniture. So things aren't quite in a place of balance just yet, but we're getting a little closer. Look at this forestry area, and we've got 2 abandoned buildings total, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Only 5 that are short on workers. We've got some commercial buildings that don't have enough goods to sell. This guy doesn't have enough workers. Overall, this is not bad as a forestry district. And then over here, a little bit worse, but also we haven't even started finishing the zoning process. We've got all kinds of space in here that we can zone to get more workers in here. And then if we do need more space, we can add the district addition. So I'm just going to put another one of these in place so that you guys can get an idea of sort of how they go together. It's really straightforward. It's a tiny bit finicky just to get it lined up the way you want it, but not bad at all. And certainly better than trying to make this shape real time with all the placing and bulldozing you would have to do. So we're going to go to intersections and the happy looking one. And then we just rotate it around so that it kind of fits. And then I'm lining up the middle piece of road that's kind of cutting the mouth in half vertically and lining it up with this road coming back down here so that it's roughly kind of centered. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not at all concerned about perfection, but it helps if it looks kind of snazzy. You know, it makes you feel a little bit better about the city as a whole. The other thing that I want to keep in mind is that I want to leave enough space between what we're about to place and the zoned areas on the outer ridge of the circular district so that I will get as much zoning space as possible without cutting any of those zonable areas off. So I'm making sure to leave enough space. And then lastly, giving a little bit of thought to how all of this is going to connect together. I think that'll be pretty good. So you can see, really simple and straightforward. That's what it looks like when it's brand spanking new. And now that it's placed, you can see what I was talking about with, stop that. Damn you. Leaving enough space so that these things are full size. There's a little bit of a gap, and I'm fine with a bit of a gap, but there's no overlap that would have cut off these. We're not losing any zonable space from these guys by getting it too close. So we left enough space. This guy here is more or less lined up with this guy here that goes right through the city. So it'll look a little bit, you know, organized and as though they were made a little bit together. And then what I want to do, we're going to do 2-lane. We're going to lose that guy, but we're going to gain a little bit of space there. Realistically speaking, we could... No, you know, we're going to upgrade it. That's what we're going to do. Upgrade, upgrade. I'm happier with that, and we got a little bit more zonable space tucked in here. This, not so much. It's a little bit more, but not as much as it might look just from looking at it. We'll leave the highway here because it's got an intersection, but it's not an intersection on the outer ring. Vehicles that want to kind of cut along there can get off onto the highway and into the outer areas without having to stop. Except maybe these ones. No, even these ones aren't obligated to stop by traffic lights. So they'll have to stop to allow traffic to go that way, you know, give the right of way, but they won't have to stop because the lights are making them stop. There's no lights there. It'll get them off and onto that section faster. There was going to be an intersection here whether we wanted one or not, and we're not too concerned about this intersection here. We're not going to bother making another connection down this way because it's, I mean, there's already another intersection here, but we don't really need it. Is it even an intersection? Let's take a look. Yeah, it is. It's an intersection here. So there's no point adding another intersection down here just to connect. That would be kind of redundant. And then we can go like this. We'll use the highway again because it's convenient. And then trying to be a little bit mindful of what kind of zoned areas we're interrupting with this. And we can get by with only destroying one. So we'll only destroy one, and then you can see there's a little bit of extra room here. This guy just started building and the whole damn thing changed on him. I'm sorry. We moved your property line about 20 meters to the right. You're going to have to start all over. I shouldn't be laughing. It's mean, but it's still kind of funny. And now from here we can adjust if we need more industrial areas as things progress. We can add a little bit more sort of in this area here. But for right now, we still want more residential areas so that we can produce workers to hopefully get these farms up and running, all occupied, everybody happy, plenty of workers. So we'll just kind of expand it a little bit that way. We're going to check, make sure that we've got, we almost wrecked our perfect record for water. We're actually having to expand the network for this. Oh, that was great. That was one shot. Perfect first time. That doesn't happen often, trust me. It doesn't happen often at all. We know we've got power because it'll just spread from the buildings there. And all of the other services are going to be coming from the central area, so we don't have to worry about that. What we can do while we're kind of in the area is place a park, because we want to keep people happy and keep buildings upgrading and taking advantage of all those fun benefits. We don't want it too close to this guy. I'm going to put it there. It's going to sit there complaining that it doesn't have enough electricity for some time. And that's okay, because it's just a park. It's not going to cause any huge problems if it's not working. Once everything is connected and the park is working, then we'll get the benefits and we should have everyone happy. You can see over here we're doing all right. We've got a little bit of less than perfect happiness around the outer edges. If it really became an issue, we could place another park here, and then once we expand around here, if we expand around here, we can place another one there. It's not a big deal. So we're meeting all of the demands of our citizens, keeping them as happy as can be expected under the circumstances. We have very little demand for anything. Residential, commercial, industrial, you can see all very low demand. That's okay, because it kind of keeps things a little bit, it doesn't feel as stressful when things aren't necessarily working, because you don't have high demand for everything. You gotta quick before people get mad that they don't have enough places to live or work or whatever. Everything's just kind of quiet, sedate. Here we are out on the farm. We've got some buildings upgrading. We've got some residential areas being built. People are moving in. We're going to bring in the bulldozer again. We just cranked up the speed a bit. We've got all this traffic, and it's all related to industrial and a little bit of commercial. We don't have any residential traffic whatsoever, which is really quite nice. When you think about it, you don't have to worry about the nuts and bolts of traffic planning for these districts, because they're really so damn small. Maybe that'll change if we add too many of these additions to them. It would be reasonable that obviously if you just kept adding additions, they would get large enough that traffic would become a problem. But for now, I think we're doing all right. Still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 farms. Oh, did we miss? Yeah, we missed it. So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 8 to 14. Wow. 14 farms with not enough workers. Residential demand is on the rise again, so we're going to add a little bit at a time. That ought to be good. And I want to just kind of give a quick tour around the rest of the city to make sure that we're not, for example, experiencing death waves anywhere. We want to keep on top of that. We want to make sure that we aren't experiencing brownouts. So, for example, if we're down here like this, looking at what's going on over here, and there's not enough power, it's going to show up as brownouts over here first before we're going to see it down there. So we want to make sure that we're keeping on top of those kinds of things and not just tunnel visioning on one little district. But it's looking kind of neat. Oh my god, it's Mickey Mouse. With a train hanging off of his face. Who knew? I never actually planned it to look that way, but it's a functional asset. What I'm going to try and do for the next episode is get all of these district assets compiled and put onto the Steam Workshop with links to them, so that if you guys want to try these out for yourselves, you'll have the opportunity to do that. I won't have it done in time for the posting of this video, but just keep an eye out for it if you're wanting these assets to give things a whirl and see how I've set things up, so that you can go ahead and do the things that you think might be better, which I'm certain that all of you would have ideas of your own that you would like to try out. So we're going to continue with our little experiment. It seems until we zoom in and we see everything that's gone to shit, it's fine. It's going to be fine. It goes in cycles like this. We're going to continue our little experiment until, like I said previously, either it's completely obvious beyond any shadow of a doubt that it's not going to work, or until it starts to work. And then we're going to expand on the ideas and we're going to see what we can do to make it stop working, because that seems to be what we're best at. If you want to be notified when I add future videos, as always, and you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media, get notifications that way. Links for social media are always in the information box below the video. Please leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.